Today we are going to talk about how the Bengals drives ended. For better or worse, how did each drive end? And right now we're starting with showing you how the first drive began. The Bengals defense started off the game with a turnover. Great play by Jordan Evans, who was initially rushing the passer. Coming back after Jesse Bates makes a break on the ball that tipped it up in the air, and Evans comes down with the pick. So awesome play there. This puts us in a red alert scenario. All right, what does that mean? That's getting the ball after a turnover. And what do you do? And the Bengals have failed to really capitalize on turnovers so far this year. We see they start off with a short pass to A.J. Green. Would be A.J. Green's only reception of the game, a one reception for 3 yards for A.J. And then we get into a bit of a hot button issue here as they run the ball on second and long. Now, my definition of second and long is second and 7, really 7 to 11. But when I break it down, we're including second and extra long in there as well. And the Bengals faced second and 7 plus 14 times last weekend. They only ran the ball twice, all right, this time, and then the other time is forgivable because it's at the end of the game when they're trying to save some clock. We'll see that play in a little bit. So that's forgivable, all right? And why do people get so up in the air about this? Why do they get concerned about it? Look, especially with this team who has struggled a little bit to run the ball, I think does well to put the ball in Joe Burrow's hands and struggles on third downs, as we'll talk about in a minute here. They've got to do it, all right, because they're not converting third downs anyway. And if you look at the stats on this, passing on second and long for the Bengals in this game, they converted a first down on 7 of their 12 pass attempts on second and 7 plus, scored a touchdown on another one. They were able to convert the first down on the following third down once and scored a touchdown on the following third down another time. So if we're looking at it overall, those 12 pass attempts on second and extra long, 8 of them were immediately successful and 2 more were successful on third down. And they settled for a punt once and a field goal another time. So now we're in third down after throwing that down away, which, isn't always the case, but it was in this case because guess what? They didn't gain a yard on it. All right, bringing up pretty good protection, dips underneath, looking for something, and really it doesn't look like they're on the same page. A.J. Green is the only one who's really actively seeing the scramble. He kind of goes deep, but, I don't know what the plan is here. Generally with scramble rules, deep routes get short routes get deep, and this is kind of intermediate. So he's going vertical here. They don't really give him a ball where he can make a play on it or anything like that. 3 and out there, but then when they get the ball back, they drove right down the field into the red zone. And the red zone has given them some problems. Here, we've got a touchdown pass, corner of the end zone on 3rd and 6 to Tyler Boyd. But it's called back. And we're going to watch Trey Hopkins here, the center, right? He just gets off that a little bit slow. They call the holding on him. Now, I don't know if he's actually grabbing onto the guy or not, but at the end of the day, it's legal to grab onto a guy as long as you're in the right position, as long as your hands are inside of him. But here he doesn't quite get there in time, and that's when you put yourself in position where you end up getting these holds. All right, now they're in a plus yardage situation. 3rd and 6 becomes 3rd and 16, and that is another issue for the Bengals. That is something the Bengals need to avoid. They're not effective in these plus yardage situations. All right, and they've got a little bit of time. I think they could have afforded to work the middle of the field a little bit more. You see some vertical routes on the outside. It's cover 2. Why aren't they working the middle of the field more? Okay, you got this kind of coming in late. Work the middle of the field more against cover 2 here. Try and get something. Try and convert this. Instead, they go with the short pass to Erickson. He's not really in great position to rack it to pick up the first down on the run either. So a disappointing series, a disappointing end there. And it leads to a field goal, and that's it. Now, in the next drive, the Bengals drove right down the field, down to the goal line on this toss to Joe Mixon down to the 1 yard line. Now they had some trouble on this drive right away. They had a 3rd and 1 that they failed to convert with the run with Mixon. They had to go for it on 4th and 1, run again, and they ended up picking it up. Now we've got 2nd and 1 on the goal line, and they come out in their heavy personnel. Fred Johnson comes in here as an extra tight end, and we have 2 tight ends, a wing, and an I backfield. Now they're going to run the down ISO here. Okay, so you hear me talk about down as a type of run, but down's also a play. And what down is it's down block, pull and kick out. And since this is the down ISO, we've got a fullback. He's going to lead up right there. Now, the question I was asked a lot on social media after this play happened is, why are we blocking 3 guys on the defensive line and nobody's getting up to the linebacker? Well, a lot of times when I talk about defenses and like, why do the Bengals run their 3-4, they run that 5-man front, it's because it protects linebackers. It's really hard to get to this guy right now because you've got a 0 technique right on Trey, and you've got a 3 technique here on the right guard. So for this guy, to be able to get up to this guy and pass these guys with those bodies there, it's going to be really tough. And that's what gets them in trouble here. Linebacker flows fast, and he makes the tackle. Now, when you get into these goal line situations, you got to look at where your advantage is as an offense. So for the offense here, look, the center is basically neutral, right? There's a 0. That's pretty much going to be the guy he's blocking no matter what, right? You can't do much about that. If we look here on the right-hand side, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 blockers plus 5 with that fullback, all right? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with this guy who's out a little bit wide that you've got to block. Out here, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 with the fullback. So with that 0 technique, they've balanced it up pretty nicely. You look at, hey, quarterback sneak, can we run that? Well, that's going to be tough. This guy's going to pinch in right away, right? If Burrow steps forward, this guy's going to come forward. It can be pretty tough. Sometimes the quarterback's got to make a play. He's got to do that. I don't know if Burrow has the ability to make that check. Most quarterbacks do. But, that is something they could do. Just say, you know what, we're gonna get it here. Or maybe they don't want to expose him to those extra hits and that pile. A lot of people asked that in the Browns game, but they had players in both A and both B gaps. Here they only have 1 A gap player. You don't know what side he's necessarily to go to. You get these 2 B gap players, but again, we're gonna get a little pinching, all right, a little pinch action on the snap here that's gonna congest that a little bit. So that's maybe why they didn't go with the quarterback sneak. Now, as I said, you count it out, and numbers-wise, you can match up on either side. But it's that flow from the linebacker that gives you some problems. And you see how fast he was. You see how you're not going to be able to get to him. It's going to be the same issue here, right? It's going to be hard for this guard if you run to the right to try and get up to that linebacker. So how do you account for a guy that you can't account for, right? Who takes the extra guy? And to me, it's Joe Burrow. So you're already running down ISO here. So let's say instead you run the down option. So now you're going down, you're pulling around, but instead of kicking out, you're really looking to pick up that backside backer flowing, right? Fullback leads up, and he's going to pick up the other backer. And now Joe Burrow runs right at that guy. Joe Mixon gets in pitch phase. And now you've accounted for everybody. Joe blocks the last guy. As soon as he's threatened by this guy, he pitches the ball. That guy wants to take Mixon. Touchdown, Joe Burrow. So that's how I look at that. To me, down here, you always want to look at the inside runs. If you don't have an advantage there, you want to look at the advantages that you can get on the outside. Can you out-leverage them on a toss? Or do you have the numbers to run an option on the outside? So that brings up 3rd and 1. Okay, we already talked about failing on 1 3rd and 1 earlier in this drive, and here's another one. Kind of a freak pick, right? Goes right off Sample's face. Look, Burrow gave him a chance to make a play. He didn't make the play on it. But at the end of the day, I would like to see Burrow put this, a little bit more air on it. I mean, really, look, we know Sample's got an advantage. We know, by design, he's in front of that guy. Now put it on the pylon and let him run and make a play on it. because the other guy's not going to be able to do that. I mean, Sambo's got to make the play anyway, but that's where I prefer the ball to be. That's going to put you in a little bit better of a situation. Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like I need to crack against it after that last play. Very disappointing end to a promising drive. Got all the way down to the 1 yard line and came up empty-handed. But from now on, it's good news. All right, this is the last drive of the second quarter. And this drive and every drive in the second half, excluding the kneel downs, ends in points for the Bengals. So we're going to start here, and I want you to watch Joe Burrow. This is pointed out by one of the reporters after the game that interviewed Burrow. See him whisper something to Joe Mixon? Now, the reporters asked him after the game, what did you say to Joe? And he said he was going to leave it on the field. But I have a thought. The offensive line is going to slide to the left, with the exception of Bobby Hart, who's going to block the edge here. Okay? So as that happens, what if this guy blitzes? It's got to be the running back's job. So what I think Burrow told him, I think he knew that Mixon was going to be able to score in this route. And I think he said, hey, Joe, free release. Don't worry about that linebacker. So that got him out in the route faster. And watch Burrow here, right? He stares down that linebacker. Why does he do that? He does it to hold him. And look at the backer here. Stays right there. This corner carries the receiver. He's got the flat, but he's not there right away. And because this guy didn't gain any width, all right, just gained depth, no width, Mixon's got plenty of room to make this play. What if he got a little wider here? If he dropped it like right here, I mean, he's probably knocking Mixon out at the 1 or the 2 yard line. That's no touchdown. That's 3rd and 1 again, right? So I think that's what he did. And if that's the case, I mean, it's great for 2 reasons. It's great for like how smart he is, but it's also great for, you know, what a pair the guy's got on him. Because he had to know that if that guy blitzed, sure, maybe he can get the ball off to Mixon, but he's going to take the hit. He's going to take a big time hit when you're pulling guys from your own protection like that. If they blitz, it's going to hurt. So very impressive there from Joe Burrow. They get the ball back to start the half. Now, one of my keys to winning this game that I talked about was winning the middle 8. The middle 8 is the last 4 minutes of the second quarter and the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. All right, and the basic idea is you want to be the last ones to score before the half, and you want to be the first ones to score after half. That's basically as valuable as getting a turnover and scoring off of it, right? You're scoring twice in a row. Now, the Bengals didn't exactly do that because they gave up a field goal before the half, but they were able to score a touchdown with their last possession of the half and with their first possession of the second half. Excellent drive here to start off the second half. They run a zone play. Mixon cuts it way back. All right, and you can see they're playing man. And as the receiver comes in for the crack to get his block here, the corner follows him. Right? Mixon somehow sees that and says, hey, there's nobody over there. Nothing but grass. And he takes it. So awesome job. Great run here by Mixon. All right, in the very next drive, the Bengals once again drive down the field. Now, just outside of the red zone, they have 3rd and 1. We talked about 3rd and 1, caused some problems in the first half, right? But here we've got another excellent run by Mixon, okay? They're real tight. We got a blitz coming off the edge. I actually talk about this one in a little bit more detail in this week's film room, all right? But he cuts back, slides right in through, makes the guy miss in the open field for the touchdown. Awesome play there by Mixon. All right, so now I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit. And I talked about running the ball on second down and how it didn't work out for you, right? But really what works out is what you're successful at. So here we've got a first down pass. I like the concept of it. It's a throwback screen to the receiver. Just Jonah doesn't quite get off. It doesn't fool the linebacker, and they got nothing out there. All right? That's first down. They're going to come back. They're going to throw it again on second down and get an incompletion. So, look, when you're not successful on those early downs, like I mean, it's still 3rd and long. It's still a bad situation. And the Bengals were 4 of 11 total on 3rd downs in this game. We talked about the problems that they had on 3rd and 1. Well, guess what? 3rd and 1 was 3 of their 4 successful 3rd down conversions came on 3rd and 1 runs by Mixon. The other one was a 3rd and 5 pass. So, look, they're not even that good on 3rd and 1, all right, because they had an interception and they failed once and had to go for it on 4th down on 3rd and 1. So you can see what a dilemma you've got. You know, you can see the issue is really you just got to be able to execute. So this gets us to 3rd and 10. They're showing an all-out pressure. They only end up bringing 4. All right, he's got some time. Personally, I think he's got to throw this ball a little faster. I think that's the right read, but it's got to go now. All right, get there ahead of the receiver, get there before the break. And I think they've got something, but I think that pass just came a little bit too late. All right, so that brings us to the 4th quarter. You know, here, like I was talking about, we had a 1st down run, passed the ball on 2nd down, and it didn't work. So now it's 3rd and 11 after an incomplete pass. Pressure kind of comes in. It starts to collapse that pocket. Burrow has to step up. Didn't really have enough time to get things going here. I think he had the deep comeback to the left. He just didn't have quite enough time to get there. So he picks up 2 yards, and you know they're kicking the field goal. Here we have a 1st and 10 down in the goal line, and they run a boot. But look, he's got no intention of throwing that ball. I think he might have had the throw to the end zone, to be honest with you. But this is the end of the game, and they're really just trying to use the clock. Boots can take a little bit of time. He gets right back to the line of scrimmage, and he slides down. I think that's, you know, the clip of him saying, yeah, getting smarter. But that was designed to take off time, and unfortunately, they were a little bit off on it, and they had to snap the ball with 2:01. They didn't quite get to the 2-minute warning, but they ran that 2nd and long run. This is the excusable one, all right? Perfectly fine. They gained 5 yards on it too, but perfectly fine because guess what? The clock is more valuable than yards, and the field goal puts you up by 2 scores. You don't need the touchdown here. 3rd and 5, they're going to run again, all right, because that's going to force Jacksonville to take their last time out. And again, they're in field goal range. So don't worry about it. So that last drive really just kind of smart gamesmanship there, all right? That's exactly what they should have been doing. But overall, we see issues, you know, in the red zone where they were 1 of 4 total. They threw the interception, but only 1 of 4 in the red zone. That's not going to get them where they want to be. 4 of 11 on 3rd downs. That's not going to get them where they want to be. And turning the ball over or getting holding penalties to put you in plus yardage situations, right? Again, those things aren't going to get you where you need to be. They need to be better in these areas to get to the level this offense needs to be at to make this team successful. So that was a breakdown of how each drive ended for the Bengals last weekend. Make sure you are checking out Cincy Jungle's pregame show brought to you by Narragansett. That's going to be live at noon on Facebook and YouTube. So check that out. Join me there. And hoo day.
Red 7, hot route.